Hi, Mystery Knox listeners. Welcome back to the podcast. For today's case, we're going to be talking about a mysterious creature that ravaged a small village in southern France in the 1700s. Hundreds of people were killed by this creature. The crazy part is, to this day, it has still never been identified. So, listeners, do you believe in monsters? This is the case of the Beast of Gevaudan. The Beast of Gevaudan. I've been wanting to do this case for years.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I first heard about it, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or something, in a different podcast called Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that's an interesting. So I listened to the episode. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I'll just put it on the list. So I think this has been on our list for 2 years. And we're just now getting to it. Oh, well, here we are.
And as usual, I have not heard of this.
Right.
It's kind of cool, though. I have no idea, so it's good.
Yeah. I feel kind of robbed because I kind of know about a little bit about all the cases, it seems, but that's okay. There has to be some I don't know
there
about.
will be one I will be like, boom, what about this one? I know nothing about it.
I have no idea.
What is this ruckus? Or something similar.
Yeah, I'm sure. One day there will be. So anyway, moving on. What I wanted to say before we start this episode is, one, there are a lot of French words in this episode because we are talking about something that happened in France. So we do apologize in advance if we mispronounce any names or places of cities or villages, but, we do our best. We did look it up on how to pronounce them, but, still, we'll try our best. Yeah. And then the second thing I wanted to say, if you guys listen to us, whatever platform you listen to us on, if you can leave reviews or ratings, please do so. It really helps us out. It'll get us, more people will be able to see the podcast, the more reviews you have. So please, please, please leave us those reviews if you like us.
If you feel so inclined.
Yes, if you feel so inclined. I know you can definitely leave reviews on Apple. So if you listen to us on iTunes, you can leave a review. But on the other platforms, I'm not sure. So you would have to check that. So, you know what I'm going to ask you, Mary? What are you drinking?
What am I drinking? Just water.
Water, no coffee today?
I had coffee earlier.
Oh, okay.
And now I feel sleepy.
That's not how it's supposed to work.
That's how it's going right now.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's fine. I think I could not fall asleep right now, but...
All right. Well, try not to fall asleep. We do have an episode to record. Moving on.
What are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking coffee and water.
That's it?
The usual.
The usual.
Coffee, water. The usual,
I feel left out, but that's fine.
I know, you're supposed to have coffee. I don't know what to tell you.
I know.
Oh, we totally forgot to tell the listeners that I'm coming out to see you soon.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. Yeah, I'll be in New Mexico in July. So Mary and I will be hanging out for a little while. Yay!
Yeah. I don't know if we'll do any podcasting. Oh, jeez.
But
we will definitely be eating a bunch of New Mexican food.
Yes, and
we will getting you caught up on that.
Mm-hmm. And we'll put it on Instagram too. Look at this
Day
delicious 4. New Mexican food. But you haven't lived until you've had green chili.
Yep. I will say yes.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And it doesn't help that I keep sending you pictures of...
Yeah. Thanks, Mary.
Burritos and...
Twisters.
Green chili. Cheese
smothered
fries,
burritos. Yes.
Christmas
Now I'm
style.
hungry.
I'm sorry and you're welcome.
Damn it, Mary.
You just have to make a list of all the places you're going to go. That's it.
Oh, so many places.
Ooh, Pinon Coffee.
Yeah.
We're hitting that first.
I'm going to gain 20 pounds in New Mexico.
That's fine. You're on vacation.
It's going to be crazy. With that being said, let's get to the case. In 1764, the town of Gevaudan in France, now modern-day Louzet, was a quiet, peaceful place. It was also remote, and it was rumored that the forests were enchanted. Quote, "It had the reputation for being a remote, isolated backwater, where the forces of nature had not been fully tamed, where the forests were indeed enchanted," says J.M. Smith, a historian and the author of Monsters of the Gevaudan, The Making of a Beast. "It's fascinating, it's powerful, it's scary, it's sublime." End quote. When most people think of France, they immediately think of the Palace of Versailles, but these people were far removed from the riches of Versailles and their king, King Louis XV. The area was mostly made up of peasants, farmers, people of a poor status, who worked hard every single day of their lives to survive. Though rich they were not, they were rich in the knowledge of their land and their wildlife. Their livestock and their lives depended on that knowledge. However, unbeknownst to them, the people of Gevaudan were about to experience one of the most frightening and mysterious events that had ever happened in their small village. Evil had made its way to Gevaudan, and it was out for blood. On June 30th, 1764, the body of 14-year-old Jeanne Boulet was found. She was attacked and killed while watching over her family's sheep, but this was not the first time the beast had attacked someone. 2 months earlier, a young woman who was watching a herd of cattle claimed something had tried to attack her. She described it as terrifying and, quote, "like a wolf, yet not a wolf," end quote. She only got away because, according to her, the herd protected her. Go cattle! I've never heard of, like, cows or cattle protecting somebody, so I found that really interesting.
Yeah.
The villagers at first dismissed Jen's killing and the other girl's attack as normal. Expected even, as shepherding was a dangerous job, and there were many dangerous animals living near the remote village. That was until August 8th, when another girl was attacked and killed. According to allthat'sinteresting.com, quote, "with her last breath, she described the animal as a horrible beast," end quote. These horrifying killings could not have come at a worse time, or maybe a better time, depending on how you look at it. France was not doing well, the 7 Years' War having just ended in 1763. Quote, "the nation had lost battles to Prussia and the British, and Louis XV had lost overseas colonies," end quote. The economic situation was definitely in the dumps. I said the attacks possibly couldn't have come at a better time because, despite how horrible France was fending, the beast actually gave the villagers something to unite against. Their country may have been down in the dumps, but the people of Gevaudan were not going to let these attacks keep happening without a fight. When the beast claimed another life, this time of a young boy who had disappeared while watching his sheep, his body later found partially eaten, and then another 4 kills in September, the villagers had had enough. This obviously wasn't just some normal attack that happened every once in a while people were tending to their animals. The villagers had a monster lurking around their village. With the killings continuing on with no signs of stopping, Étienne Lafont, a local delegate, and Jean-Baptiste Duhamel, the leader of a local infantry, called together volunteers to help go and hunt for the beast. The response was massive, at one point reaching up to 30,000 volunteers. That's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
For like a little peasant, town with farmers. But I guess it was also because there was a reward out as well. And so I think everybody's just like, yeah, I'm going to get the reward. The beast seemed to mostly target women and young girls, but it did sometimes go after lone adult men as well. The odd thing is that it never seemed to have a taste for sheep or even cows. According to SmithsonianMag.com, quote, "Duhamel organized the men along military models, left poison bait, and even had some soldiers dress as peasant women in hopes of attracting the beast. A reward for killing the beast eventually equaled a year's salary for working men," end quote. Firearms were prohibited to everyone except nobility and soldiers, so people used whatever they could for defense. So they had to get smart. They had to get crafty.
They had to get creative.
They had to get creative, yeah. For Duhamel, this hunt was personal. He had some bad experiences in the war, and this was a way for him, in his mind, to redeem his honor. The group of hunters did eventually stumble upon the beast, but they failed to shoot it. Apparently the beast was too cunning, according to the men, to be taken down by them. Quote, Duhamel described the beast as having a chest as wide as a horse, a body as long as a leopard's, and red fur with a black stripe. Another witness claimed that it could walk on its hind legs. Perhaps hoping to excuse the hunter's failure, the witness also said that the beast's skin could withstand and even repel bullets. End quote. Very interesting. As in all things, the press eventually got a hold of the story of the beast. SmithsonianMag.com writes, quote, because political news was mostly censored by the king, newspapers had to turn to other sources of information and entertainment to bolster subscriptions. François Morenis, creator and editor of the Courrier d'Avignon, used a new type of reporting called faits divers, stories of everyday incidents in small villages similar to today's true crime, to tell the tale. His reportage in particular transformed the beast from a backwater calamity into a national affair. End quote. These are just a few examples of what was printed about the beast. One poster described the beast as, quote, reddish-brown with dark ridge stripe down the back. Resembles a wolf hyena, but big as a donkey. Long gaping jaw, 6 claws, pointy upright ears, and supple furry tail. Mobile like a cat's, and can knock you over. Cry, more like horse neighing than wolf howling. End quote. Another print, which we will have on the blog, says this, quote, picture of the monster desolating the Gevaudan. This beast is the size of a young bull. It likes to attack women and children. It drinks their blood, cuts off their heads, and carries them off. A reward of 2,700 livres is promised to whoever brings the animal down. End quote. I do feel like the posters and the news printing and stuff kind of exaggerated things, though, like they like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that possibly could be what was going on here.
Yeah. And in seeing that, it kind of furthers one's imagination to, oh, that's what I saw. That's what I saw.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It wasn't, because it's already there. Then yeah, that's going to further it. I think, anyway. I don't know.
I think so. On October 8th, 1764, just hours after the beast had attacked someone, it was seen at Château de la Baume, stalking a herdsman. Hey, I actually got it in one try.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hunters followed it into the woods and were somehow able to get the beast into the open. They shot the beast, but after a fall, the beast rose and ran off. There were many hunters that came from afar to try their hand at the beast. A father and son team came all the way from Normandy to hunt this monster, claiming to have killed over 1,000 wolves, but even they were no match for the beast. The next documented attack I could find happened on January 12, 1765. The beast had attacked a 10-year-old and a group of his friends, all ranging from ages 8 to 12. Incredibly, the children were able to fend off the beast with sticks. This news made its way all the way to King Louis XV, and he rewarded the children, giving the leader of the group an education paid for by the crown. This event also prompted King Louis to, finally, send royal hunters to Gevaudan to destroy the beast. I guess he didn't like getting shown up by a bunch of kids. Another tale of bravery that made its way to the news was that of Marie-Jeanne Vallée. On August 11th, 1765, she was attacked by the beast while crossing the river Dège with her sister. According to History.com, quote, armed with a bayonet affixed to a pole, Vallée impaled the beast's chest. The creature got away, but Vallée became known as the Amazon and the Maid of Gevaudan. End quote. As I stated earlier, King Louis finally sent his personal bodyguard and gun-bearer, François Antonin, to take care of the beast. Along with François and his nephew, they hunted the beast. During the rainy summer months, they had no success. With winter just around the corner, François was getting desperate. He couldn't let the king down. Finally, in September of 1765, François located what he thought was the beast, a large gray wolf, and shot and killed him. He also tracked down the wolf's mate and cub and killed them too. That just makes me sad.
I think he was just, like it said, he was, what is it? He was getting desperate.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Just shot the whatever he can find.
He's like, I gotta kill them all. Yeah. Quote, François was awarded with money and titles, and the corpse of the animal was stuffed and sent to the royal court. End quote. The beast was put on display in Versailles. However, peace in the little village would not last long. Just 2 months later, the beast was back, and back with a vengeance. Francois had failed. For 18 months, the beast terrorized the village, and there was something else strange about the return of the beast. It was different. Whereas before, the beast shied away from killing cattle, this time it didn't. Why had the beast's personality changed? Could this have been another beast entirely? Whether it was a different beast or not, the villagers got no more help from the king. He was adamant that Francois had slain the correct beast, and he ignored these new attacks. With no more help coming from their king, the villagers took matters into their own hands. Some believed they should have done this from the beginning, as they were more familiar with the landscape and could communicate well with each other, something that foreign hunters lacked. Quote, local farmer Jean Chastel had been involved in a previous hunt, but was thrown in prison by Francois for leading his men into a bog. But his past crimes turned to bygones when he managed, at last, to bring the creature down with a bullet on June 19, 1767. End quote. An autopsy was performed on the beast, and human remains were found inside. The beast was also noted as having non-wolf characteristics. Unfortunately, the beast was eventually buried in an unknown location, preventing future generations from studying its bones. Whether it was indeed a wolf or not, it seems like Jean had killed the beast. The attacks did stop, but to this day it's still not clear what the beast was, and if there were indeed more than one of these monsters lurking around Gevaudan. Quote, the king never acknowledged Jean Chastel as the beast killer, yet history remembers him as the story's true hero. The story of the Beast of Gevaudan fascinated people for centuries, and many of them came up with their own theories. End quote. After the break, we'll discuss the multiple theories regarding the beast. Stay with us.
Now back to the case. So this beast. I think it's safe to say the easiest thing to theorize is that this may have been a wolf. However, there have been many theories as to what this beast may have been. It's quoted that while many French at the time presumed the beast to be a wolf, and many modern scholars agree, some have suggested that the beast may have not been a wolf at all. Witnesses at the time have said that it was, quote, like a wolf, yet not a wolf, end quote. It's safe to say aliens wasn't one of the theories. So
I am quite shooketh by that.
I was going to say, you should be a little bit happy about that.
Yeah, and shocked.
Right?
Because every paranormal or, mysterious episode of these that we do, aliens is always one of the theories.
And I'm like, can we not? And then finally we get an episode. But then we still reel it in. Anyway. First up in theories is the striped hyena. While witnesses have said the beast may resemble that of a striped hyena, with the possible idea that it may have been in a person's private holding and escaped. Though, since hyenas aren't native to France, it would have been out of the ordinary to see one. And that's to say if people even knew what one looked like, actually in person and not from a photo. It should also be mentioned that the striped hyenas, or hyenas in general, right, aren't known to attack humans. To me, they just kind of seem like skittish creatures that want to avoid conflict. In a pack, maybe not, but since there was only one, supposedly, I doubt it would be that brave.
I actually didn't know that hyenas don't usually attack humans. That's interesting because while I was doing the research and typing up the story, my theory was kind of that it might have been a hyena. But now I don't know because of that. Like, I thought that they would attack a human, but I guess not.
It's hard to say. However, I think they know when they can get... what's the word I'm looking for? I think they know when they can take on something and when they can't. Mm-hmm. Just like that one video I seen, and maybe you've seen it as well, where there was like a group of hyenas going after a lion.
Yeah, I saw
knowing
that.
They can, take him on, but then one of his buddies shows up and they're like, frick, forget this.
And then they're like, never mind.
Yeah. So I think they know when they can take something on.
That makes sense because I think hyenas are scavengers. Like, they're always going after prey that's already been taken down or whatever.
Or injured in some sort.
Or injured, yeah.
Yeah, has like a way in.
Yep.
An advantage is what I should say.
Yes.
Another theory was that it was a lion. Quote, Karl Hans Tock, a biologist and author of the Gevaudan tragedy, The Disastrous Campaign of a Deported Beast, argues the beast may have been an immature male lion. Like the hyena, it is possible that a lion escaped from captivity. Let me just say, all this escaping, people seem to have a security issue, I think, more than anything.
For real? What the heck, people?
Like, this is... First it was, a hyena, now it's a lion?
Mm-hmm.
God.
And what are they doing with these animals? Are they doing like a zoo or something?
Or just it's one of those things like, look what I have and you don't. It's exotic, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like,
or
that's
a
just
circus.
That's just
That's
too
what
much
they
stress.
did back then.
I don't know how they handle it.
I don't know. That's crazy.
The beast reportedly was an ambush hunter that seized prey by the neck and could possibly decapitate a victim. A lion, Tock argues, could exhibit these predatory behaviors. Lions have been known to prey upon humans as food sources, such as the famous case of the lions of Tsavo, in which a lion pair killed over 130 victims in under a year. Another supporting fact is that the territory of the beast, at roughly 50 to 56 miles, aligns with the lion's typical range. Eyewitnesses in France at the time were likely not familiar with living lions, and what they did know about them came from a very stylized imagery. A subadult male does not have a fully developed mane and sometimes has a mohawk type of stripe running down its back, which I could see as being mistaken for, or taken for a hyena. This matches descriptions of the beast by eyewitnesses, Tock argues. One hunter at the time, Captain Jean-Baptiste Duhamel, wrote, quote, You will undoubtedly think, like I do, that this is a monster hybrid, the father of which is a lion. What its mother was remains to be seen. End quote. Circling back to the theory of the wolf.
We need to talk about the lion.
Oh. Oops. Okay.
I mean, if you have any thoughts about that.
The lion?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was a lion.
I agree. I don't either. I think if it was a lion, we would have heard roars and, like... I think they would have been able to know that it was a lion, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like, yes, they were peasants and farmers and stuff like that, but, like, a lion. I mean... You
would describe more of the hair, I think.
Yeah, and lions have those long tails.
Because when you think of lions, what's one of the first things? The mane, the tail, the claws, right? The paws.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The whiskers.
Yeah. And how cute it looks. Anyhow.
Yeah.
But also...
I don't think it was a lion.
What I don't get is the fact that saying if it is a wolf or a... we didn't even get to wolves yet. But in talking about footprints is what I'm trying to get to. None of that was mentioned.
Mm-mm.
You don't hear any mention of paws from a hyena or whatever that is. Or specifically a lion. Like, you would notice those, but none of that was mentioned.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing you would see.
Yeah. Big footprints of a lion paws.
And just like Bigfoot, for example. It's like, yeah, you see this figure, you know the figure. But what's the one thing that stands out is its footprint.
Correct.
So that's what
Yeah. That's true. They never really said anything about footprints. They did say something about claws, but not footprints.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you can notice the claws, why can't you notice the footprints?
Yeah. Very interesting.
But circling back to the wolf theory, there's this quote. It says, quote, Among the theories considered most credible is that the wolves perpetuated the attacks. As Smith tells Smithsonian, Gevaudan had a serious wolf infestation, end quote. He believes that large lone wolves were attacking individual communities across the region or that it was a wolf pack. Quote, Wolves are native to the region and had attacked humans before. Some statistics show that wolves attacked humans 9,000 times in France between the 17th and 19th centuries. In most cases, these types of attacks were by rabid wolves, end quote. Though there is a flaw to this theory. Even though it would be plausible, the idea of a rabid wolf would have made sense if the victims contracted rabies, where none did, which concludes that their attacker did not have rabies. No matter the amount of title one has to their name, historians, scientists, pseudoscientists, and conspiracy theorists, it all generally revolves around some type of animal that resembles that of an animal with wolfish qualities. Some of the suggestions are Eurasian wolf, an armored war dog, a striped hyena, a lion, some kind of prehistoric predator, the extinct bear dog, dire wolf, or a hyaenodon, though being as large as those have thought to be, I seriously doubt those would evade detection. A werewolf, though unrealistic, a wolf-dog hybrid, and a human. I feel like that's a lot going on.
That is a lot. So let's break that down a little bit. That's a lot in one paragraph.
Any extinct or prehistoric predator, let's just rule that out.
Right. But I will say that hyaenodon, because we both didn't know what it was, we looked it up. It does look like what they're describing. I will give them that. However, that thing is supposed to have been extinct like 25 million years ago.
And
so
it
really
does
doubt.
Look like the hyena as well. So
yeah,
for it to say that, I mean, you're essentially saying it's a hyena.
Right. Yeah. So I really doubt it's any prehistoric predator.
No. I don't think so.
Now, the Eurasian wolf, what does that look like? I didn't look that up.
I want to say they're smaller, but because, like, hold on.
Oh, it's just like, okay. Yeah, it's just a little wolf. The common wolf.
A subspecies of the gray wolf, native to Europe and Asia.
They're really cute.
They do have like a fuller face, it looks like.
Yeah, it kind of looks like they're smiling. On one of these, it looks like he's smiling.
Yeah, this looks more like dog than like the wolves that you normally see.
Yeah, correct.
Or picture.
And then the armored war dog is just a dog that has armor on it.
Yeah.
Because I had to look that up too. I'm like, what's an armored war dog? So yeah, they don't say what type of dog it is or what species, but it's just a dog with armor.
Just like a basic dog. Basically.
A basic dog.
A basic dog.
And then werewolf, well, you know, we all know what a werewolf is.
Yeah. And I'm ruling that one out.
Yeah, me too.
That's in this story, that's the equivalent to our aliens. I mean, that's out.
Agree.
That's out, yeah.
That's out. This ain't no true blood.
When it was mentioned, I was like, cross that out. I don't even know why we're mentioning it, but it's here. To further elaborate on the human theory, quote, others have suggested that a human serial killer may be responsible for the attacks. Many of the beast victims were reported to be decapitated, something few animals could do. While it is unlikely that a killer would roam about for victims in broad daylight wearing a bestial costume, those who support this theory believe that the human killer used an animal to carry out the crimes. What was the animal? Some have speculated that it was an armored war dog, which explains its strange appearance and why it shrugged off musket shots. End quote. Honestly, after reading all this and like looking at so many theories on what it could or couldn't be, I think it was like a person doing all this. Like, it's very specific.
Yeah. I mean, at first, I didn't really entertain the thought that it could be a human. But going over the story again, looking at the evidence, some people saw it on its hind legs, which is a clue right there.
Yeah.
Decapitating the victims. That is true that most animals don't do that or can't do that. And yeah, like you said when we were talking about it a little bit earlier, like if it was someone from the village or just in that area, they would know the woods, they would know the land and where to go and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess it could be a human. I will give it that. I think it could be a human. Is it my 100% I do believe it's a human? No. But I think it could have been a human.
Yeah, like I'm tossing around between some sort of animal and a human.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I think I do lean towards a human. I don't know about serial killer, but I do, the idea of it being a person rather than an animal,
Do you have a person in mind who you think it was? Jean-Baptiste?
Jean-Baptiste, yeah. Like, the more you were reading about this guy, I'm like, he kind of sounds like he's obviously suspect. Because, like, what were some of the things you were saying that...
Well, so Jean-Baptiste, he's the one who got put in prison because he led Francois into a bog. But then later on, they let him out so that he could hunt for the wolf in the second part when Francois left. And then this killing started happening again. They let Jean-Baptiste out, and he was part of the hunting party, and he's the one who actually killed, we assume, who killed the beast that was doing it, because the killing stopped after that.
It could just be one of those things where he wanted to be known for something. Even though I hardly see as killing a wolf to be any sort of thing to be proud of. I'm just like, okay, you killed something. Well done.
Yeah, so part of the theory is that, I guess it being a human too, is that they trained, whoever was doing this, trained the wolf or whatever it was. And so that's why when Jean-Baptiste went to go kill the beast, he was able to get close enough to kill it and it didn't attack him or anything, because he was like the owner or the master of whatever it was, the beast. So that was one of the theories, like, he trained it to do all this.
Oh, and then it kept getting away as well.
Yeah, and it kept getting away, and then he finally gets there, and it,
Saves the day.
he gets close enough to kill it, and, it doesn't attack him, and he's the hero. So that was also another theory. So, and I could see that too.
Yeah. Yeah. What a con man, I swear. It comes
true,
off as as being that of a con man. But
can you imagine though if that was true and he got away with it, and frickin' people worship him, dude? They were like, he's the hero.
Well, yeah, he killed what couldn't be killed, supposedly.
Yeah, he killed the beast, and if he really did make all that up and do all this shit we just talked about, that is crazy.
Well, it's been known to happen, too. I mean, that has happened.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until later where it's like, no, that was just totally a fabrication.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wait, what?
That would be nuts.
Yeah.
Wait, this person wasn't who we thought they were?
I know.
The thing that I think about, like, for it to be a human, that's a lot of work that you have to do to pull that off. That's a lot of time that you have to have. And I feel like people back then did not have that much time. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. But I just feel like their days were spent working.
Well, it depends,
all the time.
Location. Because, country, they're doing a lot of labor. As opposed to, like, city, it's kind of different. At least I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of, like, the impression that I get. That these were all, like, hardworking people. And it being so, like, in the country and away from other people that you can get away with stuff like that. And to send help of any kind if something were to happen. Or, obviously, it did happen. But it's hard to get word out, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true. It was. So what this story reminds me of is that movie by M. Night Shyamalan, however you say his name. Have you seen that movie?
What movie?
I forgot the name of it. The Village. It's called The Village.
Yeah.
Remember the guy dresses up as a frickin' whatever the hell it was, and he attacks people?
Yeah.
This case reminded me of that when you started talking about it being a human who was dressed up in a costume and stuff. Well,
if you think about it, isn't that the easiest thing to do? Is to just, if not blame it on the devil, you blame it on another animal. And that's kind of what these people thought at the time. I mean, not the whole devil part, but I'm just saying in general. If it's something you can't explain, it's, witchcraft, it's the devil. In this case, it's a wolf. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the simplest, easiest answer is that it was just a wolf, or it was a bunch of wolves that were killing everybody.
Mm.
But again, these people lived with wolves. Like, they knew what wolves looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So they would know if it was a wolf killing people.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, different
why,
times. Who knows?
True. So, you think it was probably a human.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Captain Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah, well, in general, it's, like I said before, it was all very specific as to what was being killed.
Yeah.
And how.
Yeah, that's right, because they were going after women or young girls. Mm-hmm. They stayed away from cattle, or any animals, sheep, cattle.
And what animal, if they're going after something, you go after
They're going to go after animals. Yeah, they're going to go after any meat that's there.
I know you go after, the weakest one or the slowest one.
Yeah.
Which,
exactly.
Humans can fall into that range. But I'm just like, in general, humans really, I mean, in terms of if you're hungry, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like in general, a sheep would be an easier target than a human.
Yeah, you want a meal, you don't want an appetizer. Okay,
right.
This is turning weird. What I'm saying is...
Bringing it back.
Yes. Yeah. No, yeah, I really think it was some dude that was just dressed up, or just putting the blame on someone else so he can get away with something.
And so you think it was probably Jean-Baptiste because once he killed the wolf, we'll say the beast, the killings stopped.
Yeah, it's just very convenient that, let's, give you all the fame and glory.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's
yeah,
one.
Because if it was a human, they obviously stopped killing for some reason. Mm-hmm. Because they didn't die. So
yeah,
so that is interesting. If I had to pick one, like I said, I can definitely see what you were saying about it being a human. It's just so outlandish to me, though, that somebody would do that, that I have a hard time wrapping my head around it.
Yeah, because I know, even I kind of looked into when an actual serial killer, when that started to be a thing, and that was 1800s with Jack the Ripper. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, maybe it's not a thing, but it's certainly the beginning of something.
Yeah,
or it could be. Mm-hmm.
But I think if I'm going the animal route, if it really was an animal, I'm thinking maybe it was a hybrid kind of wolf kind of thing. It wasn't just a common wolf, but maybe a wolf mated with something else, maybe a hyena, who knows, that got free. And then this wolf was born, this hybrid thing.
I guess. I mean, that's,
who knows?
Yeah. It could be something.
It could be something.
And no, I just think of DNA, though. Is that a thing? Mm-hmm. Could that be a thing? Because obviously you can't crossbreed with some. But again, I don't know. I'm not some sort of biologist expertise. Quote, although there are strong voices arguing multiple theories about the identity of the Beast of Gevaudan, all admit that the truth will never be fully known. Without any genetic or forensic evidence, the Beast of Gevaudan is bound to forever remain a mystery. End quote. But maybe it's better that way. Alright, Mystery Knox listeners, that's it for today's case. Thank you so much for joining us. We want to hear your thoughts on this episode, so let us know on our Instagram and Facebook at Mystery Knox Podcast, on Twitter at Mystery Knox Pod, or send us a voice message on anchor.fm/Mystery Knox Podcast. A list of our sources and photos from this case can be found on our blog at mysteryknoxpodcast.wordpress.com. If you'd like to help support this podcast, you can give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, and don't forget to subscribe to us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google, or wherever you listen to your podcast. We'll see you on our next episode, and remember, stay weird, stay curious.
Anyway, here we go. You guessed it. Alien abduction. Okay. You're fucking...
Hey, I'm providing ASMR for our listeners.
That will relax me.